All right. Hey, Jill.
Hi, Betsy.
How's everything going?
It's going well, thanks. It's a beautiful day today. So
I was going to ask, like, what's the weather like? You're up in Minnesota, yeah?
Yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous fall day. So I love this time of year.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to come on and talk about your experience. So we've been working together for 6 months now. You've gone through the whole Think, Eat, Win program, and you've just done so well. It's been really super fun to coach you through that and to watch you change. But what I want to do is kind of let everybody know like who you are. So if you wouldn't mind, just share with us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, just a little about you.
Sure. Born and raised in Minnesota for the last 60 years, and we are heading on a journey to move to Arizona in our retirement. So I worked a career in insurance and risk management actually for about 40 years. And then 6 years ago, I went part-time to work for our business, which we sold about 2 years ago. So we've been slowly kind of transitioning ourselves into what retirement life looks like for us. Very busy because we have children that live out of country and out of state. So it requires a lot of travel on our part, but that's okay. We enjoy that. And we settled in on choosing Arizona, and we're excited to move there soon. So.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Kind of navigating that retirement life can be quite the transition. You guys have a very full life. So
yes. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So let's kind of go back in time. I want you to kind of tell me, and tell everybody else, like, what was going on for you when you found me and started thinking about contacting me? Like, what were you struggling with the most back then?
I had really gotten to a place of almost giving up on the weight loss thing. I thought, my unfortunately family history of being obese, and thinking that this is just what it was going to be because I just couldn't keep it off. I would say, what was it? 2021 was the last time I had kind of tried taking off weight. I did a medical management program through my clinic. I took off 30 pounds relatively quickly, but it actually did nothing to my cholesterol. And it, for the first time ever, I mean, usually it always affects that. It didn't. In fact, it went up 1. So I was really discouraged. I mean, I was just like, screw this. This is too much work and it's not even going to do anything. I think I'll just, be good. So I proceeded, of course, to gain it all back and then some. And as I, would travel and be around my grandkids, I just was like, oh, it was exhausting. It was way more exhausting than I wanted to be at my age. And I thought, I can't do this. I gotta figure this out. So you popped up on my feed. I started following you, and the things you said just really resonated with me. And out of so many programs I've done, I thought, well, that stick-to-itiveness, not trying to give up on myself, maybe I'll just try one more. And, I had reservations thinking, I know I can lose it because I have shown I can do that, but the keeping it off.
Keeping it off was the hard part.
Yeah, it really is. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you're feeling pretty down and discouraged.
Yes.
About that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just so relatable, and it feels like even harder to try each new time because we have more and more evidence that we can't do it, or that we're not going to be able to make it happen or make it stick long term. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So you started following me. We hopped on a call so I could kind of show you like all about the program. And then, are you okay if I bring up just a photo of you from the day that we met? You okay if I show? So I'm going to just bring this up. So this was 6 months ago, I think.
Yeah.
Like exactly.
Right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. 6 months ago. Exactly. That's Jill on our call. So tell me, how was Jill feeling generally about weight loss in this picture?
I was pretty vulnerable. it would make me weepy thinking about the struggle that I just couldn't overcome. Often thinking about, again, my family history, is this just going to be my legacy? And I didn't want it to be. So
yeah, I could. You told me that day that you were stuck, that you felt really, really stuck. So yeah, so that day we talked all about the program. I showed you all the different elements of it, and you felt like, yeah, this is what I need. Tell me, like, how you made the decision to go ahead and jump in. Why did you do that?
To some degree, I thought it's different enough that it could make the difference, right? It didn't feel like it was going to be any sort of structured, strict diet program. No food, no supplements, no, I don't know, some of those things that I've been in and out of again. And I liked the idea of really like the one-on-one coaching and the group calls. I do well in group settings. Not everybody does, but I do. I enjoy the camaraderie and the sharing. So
you're always super fun on the group calls. Like, you're such a great part of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just, I thought, well, I'll give it a try and put my best effort forth. I know I'll probably lose weight, but hopefully I'll come on the other end stronger and better for it. I mean, I will say many diets I've tried, I've, learned a lot in the process. It just hasn't really clicked with the how do I change the behavior to keep it off. So
yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So you jumped into the program. You felt like it was going to be different. And now here you are 6 months later, and you've lost, last time you told me you'd lost 38 pounds in the 6 months. Is that right?
Well, actually I stepped this morning and I lost 40, which was my first goal.
What was your goal?
Oh, yeah. I have more to lose, but that was the one I really wanted to achieve by 6 months. So, and I'm pleased to say
you did it.
I did.
Okay. Well, let me crunch the numbers really quick, but I have a feeling, I think, okay, so so that's about 1.5 pounds per week.
Yeah.
Which is like ideal weight loss. So healthy, sustainable lifestyle change.
Yep. I mean, there were weeks that were quick, weeks that weren't. And in and amongst all that, I still managed to, live and visit my grandchildren around the country. And I didn't feel deprived, really.
Wow. So it didn't feel like you were on a diet?
No, it did not.
Awesome. That's so good. Okay. So, like, what would you say, has your relationship with food changed then, do you think?
Most definitely. The thing that comes foremost to mind is the perfectionism, black and white thinking. That is definitely a pattern of mine. I am a type A personality. I want things to be perfect. Good enough is, a very tough concept for me. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've gotten better about good enough, but certainly not when it came to my weight or body image. So I've come such a long way. Am I, perfect? No. And that's okay. Yeah. Right? It's so much better. It's like if I have a cookie, which let's say wasn't really on my plan or an exception for the day, it's okay. I'm not eating the whole bag. I'm having one and I'm moving on. So I'm not ruining the whole weekend. I'm not starting again Monday, which was a huge pattern of mine. And I can't remember the last time I really, binged. And I had many episodes of binging. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's like actually starting new diets, like, really just drops us right into that black and white thinking.
Yep.
And so most weight loss programs and mentality out there actually makes that problem worse. And so we worked a ton on that, and we talk about it a ton, and you've made a lot of progress in it.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Yes, I would. Okay. Yes, I would.
So what are the top skills that you feel like you've learned in the Think, Eat, Win program that have helped you to have this result?
When I thought about that, because it's sort of a new skill, that's why I'm saying it's a top skill, is that I don't have to believe my thoughts. I mean, when you said those things, like your brain really throws a lot of things at you and you don't have to believe it. I'm like, what? I thought everything coming out of this thing had to be believed, right? But of course my brain is right because I'm Jill. I'm right. But it just was so crazy. Like, well, that's not serving me right now. And I don't believe that's true. I mean, just to have that conversation and then with that, the pause, right? Pausing, not overreacting, letting it sink in, because I'm very quick to react. I'm very quick to criticize. Learning to pause. That is something I'm still learning because it just really wasn't a skill I had before. But I have found the most use out of those two things, and they kind of go hand in hand because the thought pops in, and you're like, what is that? I don't have to believe that. In fact, I can believe I'm awesome, right? As we always say.
Right. It's so interesting that the skills that you mention aren't even specifically about food.
No.
They're about our thoughts, and they're about like slowing down, which is all like mental and emotional. So do you feel like this is something that's really going to help you to keep the weight off? Do you think like the future is going to be different? Like, is it going to be different this time? Where in the past you've always regained the weight. Do you feel like things are going to be different for you now?
Oh gosh, I do. Partly because your program addresses so much about the behavior. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really not about food. Of course, we ask questions about food. Of course, we talk about how certain foods call our name. But at the end of the day, there's these other tools and the worksheets that we've worked through, and the journaling that just really helps a lot when you brain dump why it is that you might be thinking about something, and in a roundabout way suddenly the answer comes through that, right? And so those are things that are easily kept going,
right? Yeah. Well, and the awareness of your brain isn't really something like you can lose sight of it for a bit, but you can't turn off that awareness. Like, it's always going to be with you.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes,
okay.
It is.
So we've mentioned like the one-on-one calls and the group calls, like, and you mentioned like the worksheets and stuff. What were some of your favorite parts of the program?
That's really a hard one to pinpoint because they really all work together. You start in such a way that, like I say, it didn't feel like a diet. Let's say, like the journaling, writing down your foods and what time you eat. No judgment, no measuring, no weighing, no, just write down. And then gradually add in some other elements. I mean, you stack this so that the person doesn't become overwhelmed, right? And then with it, it's all reinforced by the one-on-one coaching and the group calls. And then if you're craving more, which type A, of course, you can listen to other bonus modules or old calls and stuff like that. So I mean, it was really hard for me to say what's my favorite, because you just really can't do one without the other.
Yeah, and it's designed that way, right? So that it's the most effective, and you have lots of different options. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So what was your self-confidence like before compared to now? Like, is there a difference in like the way that you feel about yourself today versus 6 months ago?
Yes, there is. I mean, if I think about that 1 to 10 scale that you often use for us, I figured I was about a 5. I mean, I am a glass half full kind of person. I do have pretty decent skill sets, but it was always, when it came to body image and weight, for whatever reason, it just was this thing I couldn't take care of. So it really, weighed me down literally. So, but at the same time, I don't give up on myself very easily. So then I get into this, and as we start learning things, and certainly evidence is there that you're losing weight, but evidence is also starting to show up that, hey, I'm not doing the weekend binge. I'm not doing the start over again Monday. I'm not making so many exceptions that my brain's like, you're never going to do this, So you just gradually build that confidence. And I would say, like these last few weeks, an 8 or a 9 even sometimes, where, I'm feeling pretty confident. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. That's amazing. I love it. So was it worth it? Are you glad that 6 months ago you took that chance and took that leap for yourself? Was it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was worth it. When I think about all the plans that I've done in the past and the money you spend on those, I mean, really, you might not put it all up front, but you put it in foods, supplements, things that you're going to buy, and they don't really teach you the behaviors. They might, graze over it. They might talk about it a bit because, a lot of them still have one-on-one, but really one-on-one is like, weigh in, look at your food diary, what do you need to order this week? I mean, just no reinforcement really. So the value of the coaching and your Thinky Win kind of 12 weeks of working through, and then the next 12 weeks essentially are kind of figuring out what that means for you and your life, not this cookie cutter thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So cool. Well, I am just super proud of you, and congratulations on the weight that you've lost, but more than that, the mental and emotional baggage that you've been able to let go, and being able to take charge of your own results and get control of your behavior. And I've watched that grow for you as we've worked together one-on-one over the past 6 months. And so congratulations on that. That's a pretty awesome feat. So like, who do you think, like, who would you recommend this program for? Like, who do you think should check it out? Let's say there's somebody who, like you, is kind of watching my content and thinking, you know what, that kind of resonates. There's something to that. Like, who do you think should look into this?
I would definitely say that the chronic dieter would definitely benefit, just because, well, a couple things. They probably haven't given up on themselves yet, right? Because we just keep trying one program after another. But that switch to say it really isn't about the food, though. It's about what's going on here and how that translates into avoidance with food behavior, or stuffing yourself because you just don't want to feel the bad feelings. And I think the chronic dieter is pretty much that kind of person. They tend to be black and white. They tend to have perfectionism issues. So yeah,
The chronic dieter. And there's a lot of us out there.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jill, is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up today?
No, I think you've been fabulous, Betsy. I really do. I've connected well with you. Your wisdom. And I always think, in this tiny little body. I know in your own journey that you share, you've come a long way as well. And it's an inspiration to know how long you have managed to keep it off, but that's a lifetime still, because these nagging thoughts will still present themselves in stressful times, right? Because that's life and we're human. So Thank you for being a great human.
Oh, thank you. I think you're a pretty awesome human too. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your time. Thank you. And thank you for all of the women who can hear a little bit of themselves in your story, for being willing to come in and be vulnerable and to share that vulnerable moment from 6 months ago, but then also to say, hey, there's hope here. Check it out. This could be exactly what you need. Because that's my mission, is just to help as many women as possible to feel the way that you're feeling now and the way that I feel. I want everybody to have that. And it takes time. It takes, like really investing the effort and time in yourself, but it's possible. It's 100% possible. So thank you for being an example of that.
You're welcome.
All right, my friend. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.